2013 Prius C engine water pump replacement. I'm Brian Esser from How To Automotive. I'm going to walk you through the steps of replacement. I'm going to get started by removing the air cleaner, the top cover and the lower portion of the box. So I'm going to just pop the clips here like that, loosen the clamp up, and I'm just going to leave the air cleaner mass airflow sensor plugged in and stuff, and I'm just going to flip it up and on top of the valve cover here. After just flipping it up out of your way, you take your air filter out. Now you're going to remove the 10mm bolt here, and then the 10mm bolt right here, and then you're going to lift the bottom portion of the box out. Okay, now that the air cleaner assembly is fully out of our way, right here is the water pump. It's an electric water pump, so we're going to go ahead and just disconnect the electrical connector here. I'm squeezing the tab and pulling it off. Next, I'm going to lift the vehicle up and remove the lower splash shield. Also, before you lift the vehicle up, go ahead and remove the radiator cap. That'll help it drain faster. If you guys are doing this at home, you can floor jack the right side of the vehicle up and use a jack stand and leave it on there. And on this particular car, it's a fleet vehicle, and the inner fender liner has been ripped out, but what we're after is to remove the inner splash shield here. So go ahead and remove the 10mm bolts on the splash shield here and here, and then kind of just follow it around, and we're going to take this off. The shield off on the driver's side of the radiator is the petcock. You can go ahead and loosen that up and get your coolant draining out of the car. Now that the coolant is draining out of the car, we need to pop this little clip open here. And there's going to be another one just like this one, slightly further up. You need to pop that up so we can maneuver the wiring harness out of our way. A flat blade screwdriver like this, and kind of pry the little door open like that, and then you can maneuver. And you'll do the same thing for the now we're going to remove the three 12mm bolts that are down here below. So you're going to start here, remove this one, and there's this one just behind the wiring harness right there that you get with an extension. You remove those 3 bolts, and then we'll lower the vehicle back down. Bolts, I just use a long extension with a wobbly socket and a ratchet. Okay, now that I got the vehicle back down, what I did is right here on the wire loom here, I popped this out with a pair of needleless pliers. I just squeezed the tab on the back and pulled the tab out. And now, right below the dipstick there is a 12mm bolt here you're going to remove, and the 12mm bolt here you're going to remove. And to get to the back bolt back here, I'm just going to use a setup like this with a deep 12mm socket with a 1-inch extension and a flex head ratchet, and that'll kind of fit right around the corner just like that, and you can crack it free and spin the bolt out. Okay, now that you got the last bolt out, now you can just maneuver the pump out of the car. Okay, now that you got the pump out of the car, you want to clean up your mating surfaces. So here is the replacement water pump that we'll be installing. I'll leave a link in the description of the video for the part so you can get it directly. But if not, if you want to get it yourself, here is the part numbers for it. So we're going to take our new pump and install our new gasket on it, and they just press into the little grooves. So ASIN is the manufacturer of these water pumps, and Toyota just stamps their names on them. So when you buy them aftermarket, they may come like this where the names are kind of ground off. And basically what we've done is cut the middleman out, which is the dealer. So by buying it aftermarket, you save quite a bit of money. So now we're going to maneuver the pump back into place, and then the same way you took it out, so you just fish it through. You might have to bend the hoses out of the way a little bit and kind of maneuver things around the electrical harness and fish it down in there. And once you get it in there, then you can go ahead and start the two top bolts and run them in until they're snug, but don't tighten them up just yet. Also, as you're putting the water pump in, you want the shaft here to go in the hole right here, so you kind of want to line that up first. So you line that you kind of get it in the area and line that shaft through the hole, and then you can maneuver it into place and start your 2 bolts. So now that the 2 bolts are started and snug, I'm going to lift the vehicle back up and start the 3 bottom bolts, and then torque those down. Okay, now that you got the bolts started, I would recommend you torque the back one first, and then the side one here, and then the bottom one, and you torque them all down at 15 foot-pounds. After you get them torqued down, then you can go ahead and re-secure your wiring harness. Make sure you get that secure, because if it pops off, it'll end up in the crank pulley here and rip the harness out of it. So go ahead and secure that, and then after you get those secure, you're gonna close your petcock here. Make sure Make sure it's closed. And then you can go ahead and put your lower shield back on and lower the vehicle. Now that the vehicle's back down, you can go ahead and tighten up the 2 top bolts here and here, and then resecure your electrical connector and torque them down to 15 foot-pounds. And the reason why I did left them loose is that way when I started the bolts below, I had a little bit of wiggle room if I needed to maneuver the water pump to start the bolts. The bolts are tight. Go ahead and plug in your electrical connector, and then make sure your harness connector is resecured. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and put the lower box for the air cleaner in. So this little nipple right here lines up with the little rubber grommet here, and just push it on, and then you'll start the 2 bolts and tighten those down. Now you can go ahead and put your air filter back in, put your lid back on and start it on the boot, tighten the clamps up and flip and resecure the lid. Now you can fill the radiator up with Toyota approved coolant, 50-50 mix. I'll leave a link in the description for that also. Okay, after you got the coolant topped off, you want to make sure the overflow bottle here is also topped off too. You're going to start the vehicle, put the heater on the hottest position and with the fan on low, and you're going to start the car and run it, and you're going to have to keep the mechanical engine running by every now and then giving it gas and keeping the engine running. And you're going to warm it up and let it run for 10 to 15 minutes or so, and the thermostat opens up, and watch the coolant level. It may drop on you. You may have to add or adjust your coolant level after about 10-15 minutes or so of running making the engine run. You got warm air blowing out of the vents on the dash. You also may have to install a scan tool and clear the codes. Most likely you were doing this water pump due to a code. You could be doing it due to a leak, but a code is pretty common on these. And that'll complete the job of replacing the electric water pump for the engine on a Prius C. I'm Brian Eslick from How To Automotive. I'd like to thank you guys for watching my videos. Encourage you to subscribe. Invite you to head over to the howtoautomotive.com website for more valuable videos like this. And I will be linking up all the parts and tools and products that I used in this video in the description. So look for it there, and I'd like to thank you again for watching.